Yeah.
It shows Dorinda Myers and Holly. Hi, Dorinda, can you hear me? You're gonna come and bail me out? I'm not sure this is recorded.
It is recorded, but you have to start it. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear? Dorinda? You're on mute.
There we go. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
At this time, we'll call this meeting of the Park and Recreation Board to order. If you could stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jennifer Jacob, here, Kathy Ruth, Renee Schaefer, here, Carol Stevensky, here, Samantha Wolf, here, Paul Morris.
Here.
At this time, we'll go ahead and open it up for nominations for chairperson and vice chair. So we'll start with chairperson first. For the nomination. And for vice chair.
Hi, this is Kathy.
Hey Kathy.
Hi.
Hearing no other nominations, we'll go ahead and do the call for chairperson for nomination for Samantha Wolf. Jennifer Jacob. Aye. Renee Schaefer. Aye. Carol Stevensky. Aye. Samantha Wolf. Aye.
I'm having trouble hearing.
Holly said just push this out as far as we can. Okay.
Is this better?
Yes, thank you.
Did we make it through? Yes, we made it. Okay. And then if you could go ahead and call the roll for vice chair.
I'm sorry, who was nominated for vice chair?
I think just myself.
Okay. Jennifer Jacob,
Aye.
Renee Schaefer,
Yes.
Carol Stefanski,
Aye.
Samantha Wolf, aye. Paul Morris,
Aye.
Okay. So our new chair is Samantha, and vice chair will remain the same with myself. Congratulations. Yep.
You this then, okay. So now that we have moved on from the election of officers, we need to move to the approval of minutes. Our last official minutes were from October 27th of 2021. So everyone had an opportunity to look those over. Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes, we will call the roll for that. Jennifer Jacosh.
Aye.
Kathy Ruse.
Abstain?
Kathy can't vote because she's
Because
calling.
she's, okay. Renee Schaefer.
Yes.
Carol Sabinsky.
Aye.
Samantha Wolf,
Yeah.
aye. Paul.
Abstain.
So the minutes do not pass because we had 2 abstentions. So I believe we will vote on this again at the next official meeting. Then is that how?
The abstain would actually go in as a.
Yeah. as an approval then?
Yes.
You're
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Technically, the two people who abstained from not being here can still vote affirmative if they approve of the minutes as separate, even though they weren't at the meeting.
Okay.
That was from the law director.
compared to be running this meeting.
No worries. You're doing fine.
We have no official correspondence, so we will move into the reports. Council Representative?
Yes, thank you. Under this city council, there are several things that are being considered. First of all, in the ordinance committee, they're looking at issues concerning the right of way. And also, I do believe that we're also looking at how the zoning inspections are done. There's a question concerning that. The zoning committee is going to be meeting soon, considering proposal to rezone property on the southeast corner of Andrews and Lakeshore across from Menor Beach Park for the construction of townhouses to become a multifamily type dwelling. Community development will be meeting soon concerning an issue with the CRA, the Community Reinvestment Area. A gentleman thought he was getting it and wasn't, and there's a question whether or not he should get it. That'll be taken care of. And also under the city council as a whole, we're considering asking committee volunteers to fill out a simple questionnaire about their background and at least contact information, because council's being asked to approve these appointments, and half the time we don't know who anyone is. And I thought that was kind of rough. I believe that's everything. Did I miss anything, President? Okay, that's it.
Thank you. Mayor Eva?
Sure, thank you. As Mr. Morris talked about a little bit, Holly and I met with Greg Summers. I know a couple months ago, I reported to the board the idea of apartments at the time. I think we talked about 60 or 70 apartments. Meeting with Mr. Summers a couple of weeks ago. The idea now is about 37 units townhouses. So up and down, most would be two bedroom, maybe 2 bedroom with a den. This could be 3 bedrooms. We hope to get that going. I did send information over to Jim Sales, our engineer. With Jim got back to me today. Should be about 2 weeks to put together what we'll call a special district. What we name it could be Lakeview or Lakeshore District. From there, we go to planning and zoning to get that district approved, and then I'll look to city council to rezone that from commercial to residential if they so choose to do. We also met Monday night to go over the 2020 appropriations. There were very few questions. Mrs. Bartone put together really a nice package for council. Some of the highlights there, for example, in the police department, we are looking at 2 more full-time police officers. Those 2 new ones will be also cross-trained with dispatch too, and help out in dispatch. We're going to give a civil service test for those positions in February. As far as the fire department, we've looked into a grant, looking to add potentially 2 more full-time individuals in the fire department too. Looking at, if you all probably noticed, if you got your tax bill, property values went up, and we looked at about $265,000 increase in what we'll get as a city. That was really no, chief is going to get another police car to replace an old one. Other than that, equipment's doing pretty well. We continue to pay down debt. I've also contacted Jim Sales since we have the SID program up and running, looking at the opportunity to do something erosion control for Lake Overlook. Looking at what we gave him back in 2017, his estimate was about $532,000. With SID, the financing for that is the limit is 15 years. But once we get the particulars back from Mr. Sales, then we can, talk with council about that. That's all I have.
As far as the chairperson report, the report to give today. Includes the open to the public.
No, we have to, we're going into open.
Now we're going into that. Okay, so
So you could just say like at 7:09, we'll open it to the public.
it's 7:09. We've opened to the public. Anything from the public?
We're just peanut gallery.
Here to watch me bungle my way through this.
Yep, so then if there's something you can close.
Okay, so then we close to the public at 7:10 p.m. Move to our discussion of old business, which is discussion of the 2021 events, of which were very limited because of COVID. I'm not sure what there was left to discuss around 2021. Yes, Carol.
What ended up with the houses and the displays? Because that would have been 2021.
The winners of the
Yes.
displays. I would have to pull
And
that
then
up.
how did, yes, people came in and donated, and how did that all turn out?
I will. Jamie probably could speak to how that all turned out. She could see it a little bit better than.
The 3 houses, we got a lot of donations, and the service department guys took them to Zero, and they were grateful for the donations. And we also, out of habit, I think, got some Toys for Tots, and they came and picked up also.
Oh, good.
So we got those.
Good.
How many people were involved in the houses were actually registered for the lighting contest? Do you know?
How many houses were registered?
Yeah,
7 or 8.
Yeah, it was less than 10. Yeah.
Right.
is that normal? It's usually a lot more, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. This was my first year
I
here.
understand.
So I'm not sure.
Well, then I'll ask this to the rest of the committee. Any ideas why there were so few?
No, it's a gamble every year. Some years we have higher.
Uh-huh.
This year, I think we just happen to have lower. I know a couple of people, houses we've had in the past, some of those people have moved. So I'm not sure that, that probably had something to do with it, but I don't, who can really say?
Okay. Thank you.
What about the surveys?
So I do have survey results to share with everyone. So on the online responses, we had 22 responses. No one filled anything out from the library. I'm not sure if anyone brought any into City Hall, but I'll take the 22 online responses. So an interesting thing that we found out, one of the questions we asked was, are you a member of any senior groups? And if so, please share what you're involved in. And 53% of people were not involved in anything. In fact, most people weren't. So there was one that participated in like swimming classes, but men, and then someone said they had not been invited to any swimming groups or any senior groups. I apologize. So it sounds like maybe people just aren't aware, well, seniors in our community maybe aren't necessarily aware of the things that are available to them, or these are severely affected by COVID, where people are feeling, well, no, maybe we're normally involved, but we're not. And also the next question was, do you participate in events at the Menor Senior Center? And 77% said no. So I think previously we had all discussed maybe, seniors are doing other things where they're not necessarily interested in like community room events, but according to this survey, at least the responses that we got, that's not necessarily the case. Same thing with not participating in events at the public library. So there's really, maybe it's a lack of awareness about those events or maybe lack of interest in the programming. I'm not entirely sure. But we did get some very helpful feedback in terms of what types of events that seniors in our community would be interested in seeing. Someone mentioned different entertainment options, like at the pavilion. Meeting places for groups like Needlepoint, etc. Someone made a really great suggestion, like a senior fair, actually. So to bring awareness to the seniors in our community of all of these great resources, that programming that the library offers, programming from the senior center, different things like that, that might, maybe it is an awareness problem, that maybe they're just not aware of the things. Someone mentioned exercise groups, holiday parades, outdoor games like bocce ball, or indoor games like Scrabble. Someone mentioned they would use the senior center if we partnered with them again, same with the pools and the rec center. So afternoon game time, not bingo, very specific, not bingo. And then someone did mention bingo. So, I mean, it sounds like a senior fair or a little stand, maybe fall festival, with kind of inviting some of these local groups to come and talk about the services available for seniors and ways to get involved, or setting aside this room, if we had a budget in order to do that, once a month or once every other month for like a senior board game afternoon or an evening or whatever, where maybe we could work out among the volunteers on this board to be the person to staff it, you know, take turns or whatever, and see how well that's received. You know, maybe something as simple as that would be a long way in helping the seniors in the community feel like they have some more options.
Did they, you mentioned the library, did they mention that the library didn't have programs, or they weren't interested in?
Just that they do not go to the programs. So I'm not sure if it's like an interest thing, or, I mean, we could certainly do a set of follow-up surveys.
Reason I ask is I got something today, and Mr. Johnson did too. The library wants to do some planning in March on, seems to be, you know, what's working and what's not working. And I think this would, this is helpful to know that, you know, maybe there's not a lot of programs that they're offering for.
Yeah, and if they are, they may just not be at this location.
main
They could be at the main branch.
Okay. Yep.
I get their newsletter, I've signed up for that. A lot of it is at the main
Yeah.
branch, and it's not easily accessible for someone here if they don't have transportation.
Right.
So that would impact the seniors, and some of the programs look very interesting, but they are at the main branch.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that-
and with, you know, Andrew's place right across the street, you would think.
Right.
Yeah,
That would be a perfect spot
Yes.
for them
Yeah.
to gather.
so they're having like they're sending out like a
Like a
survey
A
or,
strategic planning meeting. I think it's a one-day session, and I was gonna attend it. But I could bring up, you know, the fact that our branch here really is losing out on an opportunity
Yeah.
with the seniors right across the street.
that's a great idea. That could be helpful in that maybe expanding some offerings.
Can we get a copy of those?
Yeah, absolutely. I can send them out via email. My printer is down,
That's
so
fine.
I did not print, but I
Email's
can
fine.
send those to everybody.
Email's
Yeah,
fine.
it's a Google form survey, so it might come funny, but it's, I have to see how to send that up. But yes, I can absolutely share those responses with everybody. I thought it was helpful, just kind of getting a sense of even like bocce ball, you know, that's not a terribly expensive thing to purchase a few sets. So working even with a modest budget, there are things that I feel we could probably make happen.
So did they suggest, or do you think the only way to communicate with them is online? Or is there other places where they get the information, or are they just?
I'm not sure. So there were no suggestions on communication. We didn't cover that at all in this survey. I expected honestly that we would get some surveys from the library, thinking that, oh, I bet our seniors probably go to our branches. So clearly that's not, maybe that's not happening, or maybe they just didn't want to go and fill out a survey at the library. So, I mean, I think certainly communication is something that maybe we can all continue to brainstorm as the best way to connect with the seniors in the community in a meaningful way, so that we are reaching people and being able to take their ideas into account.
Yeah.
A
Thank you
senior,
for doing that. Sam. Thank
Yeah,
you for that.
absolutely.
a senior fair I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
A senior fair to me sounds like a good idea, at least to get the ball rolling,
Oh, yeah.
to see if we can get more people to come.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And I mean, even if it is even just a stall or a booth at the fall festival at a minimum, I think that would be helpful, but trying to get the ball rolling on maybe earlier than that, when the weather gets nice.
Yeah, I think before that.
That would be great to be able to do. So, I mean, I'm happy to follow up, maybe the Mentor Senior Center. I'm not sure necessarily a lot of the other resources in the area, but just
Are we
asking,
just looking
please.
for activities? Are we looking for just overall like senior health and wellness? Like, what are we looking at?
Maybe kind of a little bit of all of it.
That's why I wanted to see the survey and see what all.
I mean, I'm happy to show you my phone
No,
on here.
no, no,
It's
no, no.
it's easier
No, no, I'm
to
good.
see,
I-
but I think the problem too with it being so limited, with trying to keep the survey short, is that it was very, well, what activities do you want to see? You know, and it's like, oh, board games or bingo. Well, that doesn't really tell us, do you care about health and wellness too? Or
Right.
is it just you want some social time, you know? So
Well, I have
I'm not sure how we refine
I
that.
have a question, only because I am not a big Facebook, I'm more of a one-on-one, go talk to people, because I go for walks and I see seniors sitting on their porches by themselves. So you go up and and it takes a while before they reply hello back to me. I mean, I understand, I totally understand that, but I think if we could get more one-on-one contact, if we could like go to the senior building down here and you get involved and you talk to people about what they want or what they're interested, I think maybe that will help. I mean, I am more than willing to volunteer to do it. I just, what do I have to do? What can I do? And who do I have to contact to do that? I mean, there's seniors all over the place.
Right.
And I see people sitting on their porch, and I don't mean, and I don't want to get involved. I mean, I want them to be part of the community, and I don't want them to feel alone,
Right,
because seniors do, people do. People in general, you don't have to be a senior.
right.
So,
Yeah, we did, what was that, Jen? A couple of years ago down at Andrew's place, we had a nice dinner in the, was it summertime?
Yeah, I think so.
It was kind of a luau type of thing, and
Yeah.
they were pretty receptive to, mingling with us at the time. Some were outside, some were
Yeah.
inside, but, it was nice.
And I know a lot of their activities have been restricted because of COVID.
Right.
So they're not allowed to do a lot of the events in the apartment complex that they were used to doing. And I don't know if any of those have been lifted yet. We would have to check with Mary Ellen, who's the building manager, to see what their protocols and things like that are in place.
Okay.
But I'm sure she probably wouldn't have a problem with that.
And just, I know Holly got some information from Mentor about, the old recreation reimbursement program. And it sounds like at one time, we participated, Kirtland, I think Kirtland Hills.
Yeah.
But now it sounds like they're not, Mentor, it being they, are not set up to do that anymore. Where they, in the past would send us a bill for the whole year.
Yeah.
Now they're set up for, residents that participate and non-residents. They're not set up to, these people are Mentor on the Lake, these people are Kirtland, no. I think they're at a point, and I don't think it's just COVID related. I think it's just going forward that that's how they want to operate, just resident and non-resident. That's the impression you got.
And I think you're correct on that, and they actually are really happy to have non-residents if you take Silver Sneakers, because Silver Sneakers reimburses them the membership fee and pays for the class. So they don't need to worry about getting non-residents, because we're going there because our Silver Sneakers, if we have that, takes care of the membership fee.
So maybe it is just an information and awareness issue. So maybe the
I think there's a lot
senior
of that.
festival, whatever we want to call it, but an informational session for the seniors in our community about these great things that are available to them would be a good way for, like Renee said, that one-on-one FaceTime with them, kind of visit, connect, but also provide that information.
I think there's also an issue of getting there, because one of the things I noticed from going to the senior center for the class that I go to, that they may wonder, how do I get there? Lake Trent
Right.
takes them. I can't tell you the number of Lake Trent buses, and I don't know the schedule. And actually, somebody from Mentor on the Lake is in that class, but she and her husband come together. So I know that people from Mentor on the Lake are using that because I see them there.
Yeah, so they have a senior rate and for dial-a-ride and things like that. So it's reduced rate.
But I don't know about that because she comes with her husband. I think
Yeah.
he uses the,
So I'd imagine if we plan to host this
Right.
informational session, someone from Lake Trent would be more than happy to
I'm
come and
sure.
talk about that, because, I mean, they expanded the routes here
Yeah.
through Mentor on the Lake too. They certainly are gonna want people to use them.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a list. So we need to.
because that would
connect
be an
with Lake
issue for
Trent.
some of the seniors. I
Yeah.
know.
Oh, for sure. Anything else on the senior survey yet? I'm making a list. I can send this to the group of like who we should start contacting to maybe get the ball rolling. I know the weather will probably have to be better for like an informational session.
I'm just thinking if we wait till fall festival, that's a long time.
Yeah, I think Renee suggested as well, maybe as the weather breaks is what we were
Right,
kind of that.
But I don't know who comes to the trunk sale or if there's something to do at any of the parades.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I mean, the
Maybe
parade
tag it on
don't-
to another event.
The parade, is there a parade? that
Well,
comes
Memorial
through?
Day is an ambulance sponsored parade,
So,
and that's the only one that we have.
okay,
That goes, I should say, goes through the city.
okay. I just wondered if at some point when that goes to the city, do people come out and watch and do all that? Then maybe something right here in our parking lot or something, with an informational, just an informational booth or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just to let them know
Yeah.
that we're trying to do something.
That's a great idea. And I mean, if we already have people here for the trunk sales in August,
Yeah.
that's not really that far away removed.
No.
Maybe we start considering, I can start reaching out to, I have Lake Trans Senior Center, the library.
I'm gonna check with Council on Aging. They might have
Council on
some
Aging,
good
okay.
resources.
So maybe in between now and the next meeting, I can reach out to some of these people or these agencies rather. And then at the next meeting, start thinking about some maybe early spring dates when we might feel like start pulling this together.
And you would know because you're at the school all the time. The students who go there and the parents of the students, are the grandparents in the same community? I mean, is this a school that you have multi-generations still living in the community? Because maybe we could get some information out through that.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure on that, and it is very restricted people being at the school this
Oh, I
year.
know, but
Um,
I meant getting information.
in
You could send
general,
it-
yeah, I mean, I'm
they send
sure
home messages
Lori would
somehow.
be fine with sending information out like in the school newsletter about
exactly.
those different things. How widely they're read, I don't know. I know we
Huh,
have
I
parents
know.
that don't read the school
I know.
newsletter, unfortunately. So I'm not entirely sure on that, but I don't think she would have a problem with including information like that.
Because it just seems that there must be grandparents in the community too, and you never know if you get one or two that are interested, they may tell their friends. And then spreading it by word of mouth many times is the best way to get anything done.
That's true. Yeah.
And I don't know even like the gym that's here, if they offer any senior programming or discounts
Oh, I
or.
didn't even think about, I could add that to our list
Yeah.
and just reach out,
Yeah.
and maybe have some information.
Is it
Onyx.
Onyx?
Onyx.
I think they do honor the silver sneakers.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe
Oh,
they
that's
do.
great. Okay.
So that would be a little closer than the senior center, but
Right.
if they had any programming or.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Other programming. And then maybe we could target, like I said, perhaps the next meeting, we can discuss dates, but maybe target like an April date to get this all together and get everybody out here, unless anyone had any other ideas, if anything else makes sense on a time frame.
I think Onyx would probably be open to even maybe doing a senior exercise program to just increase enrollment there.
Yeah,
Where,
Yeah.
we're kind of limited here
right.
And they have the facility and the space and probably have, instructors that they
Yeah.
can use for some of them.
Anyone else have anything on the senior survey, or any of our old business? So now we'll move on to new business, our 2022 events. Just kind of listed in order, the citywide yard sale will be June 2nd through the 4th from 9 to 3 p.m. The permits are $3. Jamie, I don't know if you had any other information you needed to share about those, or this is all just very high level right now. since
Those
we're
dates
so
are
far-
just tentative.
Tentative, okay.
So if anybody has a different date, please let me know.
Trunk sale is tentatively scheduled for August 13th from 9 to 3 p.m. And those permits are $5 per spot. Fall festival is back on tentatively for fall festival as well, September 10th, or is that date
That
locked
date
in?
is locked
That
in.
date is locked in. Okay,
Okay.
so fall festival is locked in for September 10th.
12 days, yes,
12 days.
12 days, yeah.
Are we gonna have a fill the cruiser
Oh, yeah.
weekend?
For, back to school.
Back to school. So I know this past year, did they still do it this past year? No, because the schools had had so many other donations coming in from several local churches, and there's some other organizations. Mary Eva, I don't know if that's something you need to speak with the chief of police about, if they,
We did, right before Thanksgiving. It was Phil the Cruiser, but not for school supplies. We did, we took it to the church across from East Hardwood on Lake Shore.
Oh, the Methodist Church.
Methodist, yes, yes. But, yeah, I don't know if you could check with Lori to see.
yeah, absolutely.
But it would be more probably for next school year.
Yeah, oh yeah,
So
absolutely,
it's probably
not for
way
this
too early.
school year,
Yes,
yeah.
right.
So I think they did it second week of August to
Well, we did
coincide
it,
with the tax
I think
weekend.
Jen, yeah. the
Yeah,
tax-
they do, yeah, the tax weekend or tax-free
Okay.
weekend, whatever.
Right, right.
Yeah, sorry. the tax
And I think
weekend.
that's in August.
Okay, I will ask Lori about that, to see kind of where they're at. I know this past year they had so many school supplies and things for families, but that could certainly
Sure.
change as we head into next school year.
The only thing I wanted to check about was the yard sale falls the same week as Memorial Day this year. So maybe pushing it off a week, but I don't know, I don't know how that's gonna impact, like, if we normally have people that are on social security and they're looking to use those funds, they may be delayed. So that would be up to you. I mean, I'm okay with it, but I know that that's been a question in the past, so,
And also thinking like school doesn't get out till the 4th this year.
right,
I
so
was just
maybe,
gonna ask.
So that might impact families being ready to like clean out kids' stuff
Yeah.
and have the availability to do that.
yeah. What's the date? It's, it would be the 9th through the 11th.
Yeah, I don't think, Jamie, that would impact us here any which way, if it's 9th.
Yeah, it may just give, I know sometimes we don't have to worry about it, but with the holiday and school still being
Yeah.
in, and we may just want to,
I'm all messed up with school being out
Yeah.
a week behind.
usually they get off earlier, they've been
Yeah,
getting off
before
that end of
Memorial,
May, yeah, but
Does anyone else have anything to add on for any of the 2022 events so far? Okay, the last event for 2022 that we have tentatively listed is for the holiday lighting contest. December 6th for the entries, the 7th for the committee to decide the top 3, and the public will be able to vote the 9th through the 20th. Anyone have any thoughts on those dates, or? I know it's quite early for that, but. Okay, well, we can always address that at a later date if we have some new ideas or anyone sees any conflicts down the line. With those dates. Moving on to the one committee seat that is open.
We have a seat.
We have one seat open. Is Tim Tabelli going to take that seat?
Yes.
Okay, it is.
I will. Yeah, well,
So more news to come on that later, at a later date.
yes.
Okay, excellent. I have no announcements. Does anyone else have any announcements that are relevant?
I think we talked about this maybe a couple meetings ago. The idea of switching this maybe to 6 o'clock instead of 7. I don't know if that works better or doesn't work better for everyone.
I'm open to that. I know.
We had to change it, I think, in this,
Mr. Shaboo had a conflict.
Okay.
Yes.
but I think there was something about the standing rules or,
There would be a change.
yeah, something, yeah.
And to change the
Yeah.
rules to amend park and recreation
to be
rules.
Right.
Because you amended it last year, moved it from Thursdays to
Wednesdays, yeah.
A lot of the other council meetings are moving to 6 o'clock,
Oh, okay.
because council as a whole, I think, has found that it's a lot nicer to get home a lot earlier,
Yeah, I bet.
especially when we get into the summer months.
Sure. Do you have any thoughts on possibly moving this to 6 PM on Wednesday, or conflicts really, I guess?
I'd be all for it.
Renee?
I'm good with whatever's convenient for you guys, because you're,
6 is fine for me.
Yeah.
Do we
I-
have to,
I'm
do
sorry.
we have to change,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, do we have to change the charter before we can do that?
Yes,
Not the charter.
not the
The
charter,
rules.
but the rules
Yeah.
needed to be amended to change the meeting time.
Okay, so if the council makes the change, we can make the change at the same time?
You can do it independent of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can just do it as our committee. We don't need to do that with council.
No, I just meant doing it at the same time to change the charter. Instead
There's
of
no
two
change
separate,
to
No, we have.
no change to the charter, Kath.
no
But-
change?
What you're changing is the Parks and Rec board rules.
It's just the committee
Oh,
rules. that
right,
need to
okay,
change, yeah.
okay.
Yes.
So that's not part of the charter then?
No.
No.
Okay, sorry, misunderstood.
So we need to have somebody make a motion.
So we can do that tonight. We don't
No,
need to
you make a motion tonight to
Amend the rules.
amend the
amend the
rules.
rules. Okay. So we will entertain a motion to amend the rules.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Gotta love
You can't vote tonight.
Okay. So there has been a proposed amendment to change the rules of the Parks and Rec Committee to allow for a 6 PM meeting time instead of a 7 PM meeting time. Do a roll call vote. Jennifer Jacobs.
Aye.
Kathy Ruse needs to abstain. Renee Schaefer.
Aye.
Carol Stefanski.
Aye.
Paul Morris.
Aye.
Steve Wolf, aye.
Excuse me, I don't think I have to abstain from voting for the rule change.
You can't vote because you're on
Does
the
or
phone.
doesn't?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Or
have to
is
be.
it
here
because
in
I'm on the
person.
phone and I'm not?
Yeah, you
In
gotta be here in
person?
person.
Okay, I'm sorry, okay. Understood.
worry. So the motion passes, so the meeting has been moved to Wednesdays at 6 PM. Anything else? anyone needs to discuss?
I know we had mentioned and talked about doing once a month something for the seniors. So since we only meet once a month, do you want a proposal? Do you want plans? Do you want suggestions for like on this day and certain day and time, what we should do? Or, because right now it's just like out in the air. There's no really thought or idea to put down on what we want to do and when we want to start.
Oh, that's.
So to me, doing that is
What do you
important.
feel like works for you? You mean like a secondary meeting, just kind of on our own terms to connect on those things? Or do you want to do like an email chain? No one likes emails, but like what works for what you think would be like a good way to get the ball rolling? with
Well,
that
I was
kind of thing?
thinking once I got the list to see what's all involved, and I don't hear anyone, I mean, I hear everyone throwing ideas out there, and that's a good idea, that's a good idea, but not wanting to make it happen. So, I mean, is this something that we should do, or want to do once a month or every other month and plan something for seniors to do and see how it actually works out and see if people show up?
Yeah, I think,
Because, I mean, otherwise, in a year, this is pointless.
sure. I think that's a great idea. I'm just not sure how that works with needing to reserve the room and we have no budget. So I know
Well, I'm
Mary,
not, but, okay,
I don't make the rules around
no, I know. What-
room usage, so I guess Mary even might be able to help us kind of navigate that a little bit. I know you were very wonderful about if we could put together a budget proposal for being able to rent out the room, you would take that to council and.
Okay, but I have an idea without even needing all that. Say,
Sure.
say we just want to get together and have seniors go for a walk or meet at the pavilion. It costs nothing. But you still have to get that information out there to the
Sure.
people to see if it's gonna happen. So that is my question. Do we want to start like when it gets warm in what, April?
April's probably good. to
And
start.
do something like that?
Yeah, I think
like-
that's great.
Put something out there and let them know that like April, whatever. I don't have a calendar in front of me right
Yeah.
now, but I'm free to do anything any day during the week, like.
Yeah.
We can meet over here and go for a walk, or even just meet to socialize.
Yeah, if I know ahead of time, I can clear my schedule to make something like that happen once a month or once, whatever schedule we decide to
Okay,
make
and-
that on.
And I can do it. I mean, as
Okay.
long as I'm on this committee till the end of 23. I am more than willing to try to start that and try to do that. And we need, whatever they want. Like you said, they don't do anything, they don't go anywhere. If it means go over there and meet at the library and do something, I can do that too.
Oh, that's good.
Whatever, we think will get the most people involved.
I think
Because
that's
that's
a
what
great
it's
idea.
all about. It's just getting the seniors involved. So most of them live at the senior down there, then let's do it next to them. Let's do it by them.
Okay,
So that way, all they have to do is come downstairs or go across the street.
so do you want to spearhead or like, how can we support you in getting the ball rolling? Or do you want this to be like a group of us get together with you or maybe just one other person with you to start getting the ball rolling? What do you think will make it most effective to like take off with it?
So if you're leading it that way, like it's my idea, then.
Oh, no, sorry.
No, because I'm bringing it up, and that's usually how it works in the world. Next month, at the next meeting, I will have ideas and thoughts of what we can do, when we can do it.
Okay.
And see if that's feasible, and if,
Well, and as you're talking, I thought that, we've always been welcome at Andrew's Place. It's a matter of getting a hold of Mary Ellen. If we told Mary Ellen, hey, we're coming, pick a date at 7 o'clock with coffee and donuts, they would come downstairs. And maybe that would be a chance to talk to them about, okay, we know you're in the building, but what would you like to see maybe across the street at the library? Would you be able to, would you be interested in maybe a class over at Onyx, right up here? And we could meet with them and get their ideas.
That's great. Renee, do
Right.
you think something like that in like March or April would be a good starting point?
yeah, that would be a good idea. Ask them what they're interested in. And I'm only talking this stuff because my mom's an assistant living. They do all kinds of stuff, like they have someone come in and do painting on the campuses. That's stuff that can be done there. I don't know what they're able to do or what we can do as part of that. I don't know if we can have something like that here.
No, and I know going, spending time down there, and Jen knows, and Michelle knows, they're mostly pretty able to do just about anything.
So it's just a matter of what do you want to do to get involved to do
Right.
things.
Right.
I
So,
think those are senior apartments, they're
Right.
not assisted living.
Oh, no,
apartments.
right.
no,
So
I am just talking, my ideas are coming from my life.
No, but when we were talking about what they can do, so they would be pretty mobile.
Yeah, that-
Yeah, and I think if,
And I would,
we talked to Mary Ellen and said we'd like to do something, maybe instead of a February meeting, we meet down there, whenever our next scheduled meeting is. Meet down there at 6 o'clock, we tell Mary Ellen, we'll bring, like I said, donuts, coffee, cake, whatever, and
love that.
meet with them.
That'd be fine, and I'd be willing to, do it if everyone can't come and they just want one or two people.
Well, if we made it a meeting,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
if
that'd
you
be
could make it, then
wonderful.
you could make it.
Right.
Hold your Parks and Recs meeting there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not events where you go.
Right.
Is the Parks
That's a
and Rec
good
Committee
idea.
not a committee meeting open to the public?
Yes.
Then how do you do that down there?
You just have to, what,
You have that permission. by them.
yeah, Mary Ellen would have to approve it, or we could just bring people in online for that meeting. Let them know that there's restrictions, pertaining to that because we're gonna be off-site.
Also, you have to check with Mary Ellen because it is subsidized housing.
Yeah,
There are certain things that she has to do.
yeah,
Like she has a contract where she has to provide certain activities and certain events for the residents of both of her
yeah,
units. And she has to do like so many things a month with them too. So you have to check with her too to see kind of what her requirements are to fit everything in with what she
Yeah.
has to do.
so it's just a matter of getting in touch with her, seeing if there's still restrictions, what the availability is, and I'm sure she'll be open to it.
That's a really good idea.
And if we can't do it in their building, how does the library work down here? Can we rent out, can we?
You can reserve that
reserve
room
the
for free.
room for free? Okay, so we could reserve the room and do it there as well.
If it's big enough. I
It's
don't know,
big.
I don't know how big there's,
Well, I don't know how many people are gonna show up. I mean, how
We
many
don't-
people show up at?
Yeah.
things?
We have a small group that's trying to develop the history of Mentor Lake, that meet down there quarterly.
Oh,
And it's a pretty good sized room.
And
Yeah.
I'd imagine they probably would be, if we were at the library, they would be okay with people kind of moving around, I don't know, I can't see
Yeah,
them
they're
being
fine.
upset about there being traffic in there. That's
No.
a great idea.
They might be more comfortable in their own element.
Yeah.
Right.
But.
Yeah.
We could check.
And if you're doing it in the winter, they might be very happy not to have to walk out of the building.
yeah,
Right.
And they have their own rules, then there are rules for what you can and can't.
Yeah, does someone have Mary Ellen's contact information?
Yeah,
I'd be happy to, or do you wanna?
yeah, I can
follow
reach out
up
to
and-
her.
Okay,
Is the other building in Mentor on the Lake too or not?
Yes,
It's the red ones between Giant and. Red brick ones.
So is that, this up here is senior living, which is just general.
That is families and that is the seniors.
so when I talked to Mary Ellen, is it that we want to have our park and rec meeting there? Or just a meeting with,
Is it being a meeting, is that too formal for people to want to get involved? Would it be easier just for one or two people go with coffee and donuts
No,
and
I
socialize that
I
way?
think
or-
that the more the merrier, really. I
Yeah.
know they're always open to,
that's great.
Okay.
My concern is if you hold a Parks and Rec meeting there too, besides it not being available to the public and the rest of the seniors, the length of the meeting could be long enough to make actually bore them. So,
Sure, so it
Because
doesn't
they're not
have to
gonna be
a
involved.
meeting, it
Yeah.
could just
but to
be.
get together with them down there to discuss what their wants and desires are is a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a good start to getting the ball rolling.
I think
on
that's a
any
wonderful
other program.
idea.
Okay,
But I don't think, personally, I don't think I'd hold Parks and Rec meeting there.
And I agree with that. I think,
I think a meeting is too
Yeah.
formal.
no,
myself.
I think the intent was never just, what we're doing tonight.
Right.
And maybe Jen, it's, if they can do something in let's say 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then still have our regular meeting here.
like
at the
middle
end
of February?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Okay,
Does that timeline work for you, Renee,
That's
with
fine.
like within 2 weeks? Okay.
That's
We'll
right.
also give you some ideas to what people of that age group are looking for.
Sure, she'll probably want a flyer. I'll talk to her about it
Okay.
and then she'll probably want something posted, like if
Okay.
we could drop something off there.
Okay,
So she can hand out to the residents to let them know something's coming up.
okay.
So once I hear from her, I'll get your number tonight and then I can
Okay.
text you.
Does anyone have anything else for this evening? We will adjourn at 7:49 PM.
I'll make the motion.
I'll
I
second that
really,
motion.
I was not prepared for this. I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
You'll be fine.
Is there a motion for adjournment?
So made.
Second.
All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
We adjourn at
She's
7:50.
opposing.
Yeah, I know. She was ready to adjourn at 6:01 or 7:01.
Oh, yes.
So, you're on that.
Samantha.
I'm not good about that.